would say when I first moved to Richmond, about the time we first moved to Richmond, this band Breadwinner was playing shows, and they did technical, just insane math metal, and that was definitely what influenced. They set the bar for how good we had to be when we played shows in Richmond. So that was incredibly influential for us.
As far as heavy metal music and what got me into it, it's funny you should ask that. Here's my brother Mark. He had a copy of Black Sabbath's Paranoid on cassette tape that he probably stole from somewhere.
Good job. Negative.
And that was really the first real heavy metal band I got into. Our dad found the tape and smashed it. He was not very stoked about it. And then he turned me on to Bolt Thrower and Obituary, the whole death metal scene. I was more into the punk rock scene, and then this fool was always listening to the death metal and so forth. So it's all on him. I give up.
It's a damn phone.
First concerts you guys went to?
Campbell, just look a little more this way with you.
When I was 4 years old, I went and saw the Beach Boys at the mall in D.C. in 1976. Pretty crazy stuff.
First concert, the first real concert I ever went to was ZZ Top with this guy Tom Ayers and his mom. We called him Zit because he had really bad acne. But it was the Eliminator tour, I believe. It was ZZ Top Hampton Coliseum.
You never told me, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a good show.
Good show.
How are things now different than when you guys obviously got a start in this? How?
I mean, for us, from our perspective, you're sitting on a bus. I mean, it's a huge thing to not have to drive and be sitting right on top of each other in the van. It's a nice change from when we first started.
For us, there's a whole lot of exposure. It's really nice for us to have, like, our girlfriends, our family come out. Also, for me, I'm the only dude in metal with my own personal whip maker, Mr. Jim Markell right here. This is my whip maker, Jim. He makes whips for me. Who else has a whip maker?
That's fucking metal.
No fucking else. Nobody else has a whip maker.
In metal.
So, in metal. That's true.
Who were you were fanatical about the bands that you were listening to? Then when you were growing up, the bands that you just couldn't get enough of, that you went to see all the time? Were there any?
I didn't necessarily get to see them all the time. When I was a little kid, like Black Flag and Soul Side, a bunch of DC hardcore bands like Fugazi and stuff like that was definitely stuff I was checking out.
I have an audio tape still from when me and him were kids. We went to go see Danzig and COC.
Nice.
And the next week was the Bad Brains. Remember that? And it's like us being like, oh, we're going to go see the Bad Brains next week. I was a total Bad Brains fanatic, and they come out, played Reignition. I threw my leather jacket at my girlfriend, the Kodak girlfriend. And then, 20 years later or something, I went with my current girlfriend and they played the song and I threw my jacket at her and went into the pit again, Bad Brains, definitely East Coast hardcore all the way,
It's a nice looking coat rack.
Yeah, I got a nice looking coat rack.
Yes, sir.
But early on, the bands, some of the bands that you toured with, were you? Who were some of the bands? Any memorable bands that you toured with for a while there that you had a lot of fun with?
When we went on tour with Gorm, and that was fucking awesome because they had been playing in Richmond when we first moved there when Scum Dogs came out in the '90s, and I would go see them play all the time. Just had a great time, and when we did that first tour with them, it was just fucking amazing because we already kind of knew everybody in the band, and they were just like, all right, this is how it works. This is how it was like your big brother taking you on tour.
Yeah, exactly.
It was awesome.
They kind of showed us the rope. Also, I got to give big props to God Forbid. Ozfest, all this stuff is awesome. We have our own bus now. We had, 15 heads on that bus when we shared with God Forbid?
Yep.
14, 15 heads. That, to me, was the most fun I've ever had because those guys, their drummer, Corey, it's like being on tour with Eddie Murphy. It's ridiculous. He just clowns you and you have no choice but to laugh at you.
Match? I mean, have you guys
more,
ever got
more people's crew?
Warrant any bands that you...
We really didn't get along with Poison. When we toured with Poison, Ricky, every day I have problems.
Led Zeppelin, though, those guys were fucking cool.
Yeah.
When they took us out, was
No,
fucking
we
awesome.
get along with everyone. Mostly it's crew stuff, like you were saying. It's mostly
We've bumped heads with crew before in other bands, and you know.
I double dare you.
What bands do you feel now are pushing the envelope, the metal genre? Bands that do you feel are going to be the next wave of bands out there?
I think our contemporaries and what we're doing, I feel like we are part of this wave that's going on with like Shadows Fall, Killswitch Engage, Unearth, God Forbid, a lot of these second stage bands, man. It's we're here now.
I would say, and these are contemporaries of ours. I would say Nora, Byzantine, A Life Once Lost. All these bands that just happen to be from the East Coast. You know, it's real harsh here, and there's a lot of harsh music. It's really cool.
Your most famous radical groupie story or road story, something that you're never going to forget?
Most
Years
famous.
and
What's a groupie?
Was there?
What's a groupie? We don't know a groupie. We all got women.
One
Yeah,
memorable.
we all live with our girlfriends, buddy.
One memorable road story.
All right, the very first time we went on a real tour, there was a goal to drink beer off a titty. And goddamn it, I drank beer off a titty. Man. And it turned out the girl, we were in Ohio somewhere, they looked at the girl's ID to make sure it was all cool, and she was from Richmond, Virginia, which was really crazy. And I drank beer off a girl's titty, man. It was all right. I'm not ashamed, man. You should try it.
I'm not ashamed of boobies. I'm not
I
ashamed.
love boobies, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I said I'm not ashamed. No. There was a show in Arizona one time, and our guitar player Mark really doesn't like being touched. Like, on stage, off stage, whatever. He doesn't like being touched. And I look over, and there's this guy with his arm around him, and he's hopping up and down. And I take my glasses off when we play. I'm blind as crap, you know. And I see this guy like grabbing Mark, and I'm like, oh no, I better get him before Mark kills him, so we don't have a lawsuit. So I go charging across the stage to tackle this guy right off the edge of the stage, and I stop like 3 feet away from him because I realize A, the dude has one leg, and B, he's got a colostomy bag hanging out of his stomach, and it's like flopping around on the stage like full of shit and piss and whatever else comes out of a colostomy bag. I'm like, I'm gonna get you, mother! Oh wow, you know. So we just let the dude in his colostomy bag hop along. You know, that's probably the craziest shit I've seen on stage. I think. You know, I'm really glad I didn't tackle a one-leg dude with a colostomy bag.
No,
on
that could have
stage.
gotten messy.
That would have been really messy. You know, and I was careful not to step on it.